A scream suddenly rang out on the plane, jolting two agents awake. A flight attendant discovered a fully cooked body inside the oven. When the agents tried to question the flight attendant, they found her too shocked to speak. The captain told the agents they had 4 hours until landing. They had to identify the killer within that time, or the case would be handed over to local authorities upon arrival. The agents immediately photographed the body and transmitted the images to their lab colleagues for assistance. They quickly noticed the deceased was wearing fake nail tips. With these clues, a flight attendant soon identified the victim as Mia from seat 3B. The agents immediately woke the male passenger lying beside her seat, but he had taken sleeping pills before boarding to ensure quality rest, so he had no idea when Mia had left. At that moment, John from the front row suddenly stood up, explaining that his wife was seriously ill and needed quiet rest. He asked the agents to keep their voices down. His son then stood up and threatened the agents, saying he'd take care of them if they continued disturbing his mother with their noise. Faced with this strange family, the agents gave no response. Angela examined the crime scene photos and discovered what appeared to be thermal plastic containing metal, similar to some type of computer chip. To find pre-mortem injuries, the medical examiner had to separate the remaining muscle tissue from the skull. They discovered an indentation in the occipital bone, indicating Mia had been struck by an object. The agents borrowed baby powder and toothpaste from passengers, mixed them together, and applied the mixture to the skull, successfully creating a mold of the murder weapon. Camille noticed pink discoloration around Mia's abdominal muscles, indicating blood was still flowing before she was burned, meaning Mia was still alive when thrown into the oven. The agents then noticed the oven's edge handle perfectly matched the impression on the mold. It appeared the killer first stabbed Mia with the computer chip-like object, causing her to lose balance, then pushed her so that her head struck the oven handle. To destroy evidence, the killer threw the severely injured Mia into the oven. They then spotted a bandage on the floor. Based on the overlapping coverage area, Angela determined it belonged to a large man. The adhesive's detached portion was bent at 90 degrees, suggesting the person suffered from tendinitis in their fingers. To identify the killer, the female agent had all passengers raise their hands. After inspection, they successfully found a man with an injured finger. However, no matter how they questioned him, he insisted he hadn't killed anyone and didn't know Mia, claiming the bandage had simply fallen off accidentally. Meanwhile, investigators located Mia's supervisor, who had long admired her but was repeatedly rejected. He only learned later that Mia had a boyfriend, John from the plane. Confronted by the agents, John admitted to having a relationship with Mia, but said after learning his wife was seriously ill, he decided to break up with Mia to focus on caring for his wife. However, she refused to accept this. He had no idea Mia would follow him on this trip abroad. As a professional lawyer, John stated that unless police had direct evidence, he refused to answer any other questions. A flight attendant then approached the agents, explaining that during the time of the incident, she had used the emergency satellite phone to contact her boyfriend. When she suddenly heard footsteps outside, fearing punishment, she hid in the cargo hold. Due to the engine noise, she couldn't hear the conversation between the two people nearby, but noticed they were both wearing first-class slippers. Since Mia's skull had struck the handrail and bled, the killer must have gotten blood on their feet while disposing of the body. The agents removed the plane's projector, and the female agent borrowed shooting glasses from a passenger. Together, they created a device to detect blood traces. After careful searching, they finally found blood residue on John's son's feet. John refused to believe this, explaining his son was still a minor and couldn't possibly do such a thing. But Booth didn't listen, theorizing that the boy must have known about his father's affair with Mia and that she had boarded the flight. The naive child thought that by killing Mia, his father would stay with him and his mother, thus creating this tragedy. However, blood evidence alone wasn't enough to prove murder. The female agent then noticed the game cartridge beside the boy. Opening it, they discovered one card was missing. More importantly, the cartridge material was identical to the fragment lodged in Mia's chest. This discovery sealed the boy's guilt.